Laudetur Jesus Christus. Before we wander off too far into some other subjects, we need to return to declensions. As you may recall, we have only covered singular cases, mostly in lesson 5. It might be a good idea to review that particular lesson to refresh your memory regarding declensions. And now I would like to also go over the same declensions, but this time in plural. As you may recall, we chose for the first declension terra, terra, terre, terre, terram, terra. For the second we had filius, filius, filii, filio, filium, filio. For the third one we had pater, pater, patris, patri, patrem, patre. Then we had for the fourth declension fletus, fletus, fletui, fletum, fletu. And for the fifth one we chose res, rei, rei, rem, re. So those were the 5 declensions, and we presented all 5 cases for each one. So now let's do the same thing for plural, with some examples, some simple sentences to demonstrate the use of each one. So the first noun would be terra. In plural, nominativus is terre, genitivus terrarum, dativus terris, accusativus terras, ablativus terris. Notice that some forms are the same, as I mentioned before. Terre could be genitivus singular, it could be dativus singular, or it could be nominativus plural. And we make a distinction based on context. Just like in English, if I would say work, I wouldn't know if I mean it as a noun or as a verb. But if I would say I have to work, I would know that it's being used as a verb. And if I would say this work is very hard, then I would know that I'm using it as a noun. So the same way in Latin, even though some forms are the same, it's easy to make a distinction based on usage, based on context in a sentence. So let's continue with our second declension. Nominativus plural for filius, son, would be filii. Plural is filii. Genitivus plural filiorum, dativus filiis, accusativus filios, ablativus filiis. Third declension, nominativus patres. Singular is pater, father. Plural, nominativus is patres. Genitivus patrum, dativus patribus, accusativus patres, ablativus patribus. Fourth declension, fletus. Nominativus plural is fletus. Genitivus fletum, dativus fletibus, accusativus fletus, ablativus fletibus. And the final fifth declension, plural, nominativus res, things, res. Genitivus rerum, dativus rebus, accusativus res, ablativus rebus. And now let's look at some sample sentences. It's always much easier to absorb a new word, to learn a new word when we see it in some context, even if only in a very short sentence, or at least if it's connected with some adjective. For example, I could say new things, plural, res nove, rerum novarum, rebus novis, res novas, rebus novis. So let's start from the beginning and look at the first example. Terre, lands or countries in plural. And the example is Benedicant Deum Celi et Terrae. Bless the Lord, heavens and lands, plural. All the countries, all the lands, terrae. Bless the Lord. Benedicant Deum Celi et terrae. Genitivus, omnes reges terrarum. All the kings of the earth, but in plural, of every land, terrarum. Dativus, dedite irrisionem universis terris. I gave you as a joke to all the lands. Dedite irrisionem universis terris, to all the lands, terris. Accusativus, dedi omnes terras istas in manu regis. I gave all these lands, omnes terras istas, in manu regis, to the king's hand and to his power. Dedi omnes terras istas in manu regis. And ablativus, congregabo eos de universis terris. I will gather them from all the lands, de universis terris, de terris. A second declension, filii, plural. He sunt filii mei. These are my sons. He sunt filii mei. Remember, esse, the verb esse, to be, sum es est, sumus estis, sunt, they are. He sunt filii mei. These are my sons. Genitivus, filiorum meorum nomina sunt Johannes et Petrus. The names of my sons, filiorum meorum. Dativus, do, I give, dona, I give gifts, filiis meis, to my sons. Or it could mean to my children. Do dona filiis meis. Accusativus, video, I see, video filios meos. I see my sons. Video filios meos. We already covered video. Video vides, videt, videmus, videtis, vident. So I see video filios meos. Ablativus, loquor, I speak, de filiis meis. In the singular, the example was loquor de filio meo, I speak about my son. In plural, loquor de filiis meis. Third declension, plural, nominativus. Patres nostri nos amant. Our fathers love us. Nos amant. Amare is a first conjugation verb. Amo, amas, amat, amamus, amatis, amant. They love, nos amant. They love us, nos amant. Patres nostri, our fathers, nos amant. Patres nostri nos amant. Genitivus, patrum nostrorum religio. The religion of our fathers. Patrum nostrorum. Dativus, damus dona, we give gifts, patribus nostris, to our fathers, patribus nostris. And damus comes from dare, again first conjugation verb, dare, do, das, dare, dedi, datum are the principal parts. And in present tense, it is conjugated as do, das, dat, damus, datis, dant. So, damus we give, dona patribus nostris. We give gifts to our fathers. Accusativus, videmus patres nostros. We see our fathers. Videmus patres nostros. And ablativus, loquimur, we speak. De patribus nostris. We speak about our fathers. We speak of our fathers. De patribus nostris. Fourth declension, nominativus, lacrimae et fletus hominum, the tears and the wailings of men. Plural, fletus, wailings. Lacrimae et fletus hominum. Genitivus, magnitudo fletum eius. The intensity, I suppose I could say in English, because magnitudo is the greatness, but in English it sounds as a positive value, whereas in this case it refers to the intensity of it, of his wailings. Magnitudo fletum eius. Dativus, finem pone fletibus tuis. Put an end to your wailings, plural. Finem pone fletibus tuis. Accusativus, puer, a boy, largos effundit fletus. The boy is emitting huge wailings, plural, cryings, wailings. Puer largos effundit fletus. And ablativus, peccata mea, my sins, peccata mea, fletibus lavo. I wash my sins with wailings, plural, fletibus. Ablativus is often used to indicate instrumentality. Through the instrumentality of my wailings, fletibus lavo peccata mea. Now the final fifth declension, nominativus, plural, res nove et curiose, new and curious or interesting things. I could also reorder that sentence and say nove et curiose res, new and interesting things. But as we already mentioned, in Latin the word order is very free, so I can very easily say things new and interesting. Res nove et curiose. Genitivus, studium rerum novarum, the study of new things, rerum novarum. Dativus, rebus novis faveo, I give my favor to new things, rebus novis faveo. Accusativus, video res novas, I see new things, or I perceive some new ideas, things. Video res novas. And ablativus, loquor, I speak, de rebus novis. I'm talking about new things. Loquor, de rebus novis. So again, let's go over each example, this time without any translation or interruption, starting with plural terra. And the first example was benedicam Deum celi et terrae. Omnes reges terrarum dedite irrisionem universis terris, dedi omnes terras istas in manu regis, congregabo eos de universis terris. His sunt filii mei Johannes et Petrus, filiorum meorum nomina sunt Johannes et Petrus, dodona filiis meis, video filios meos, loquor de filiis meis. Patres nostri nos amant, patrum nostrorum religio, damus dona patribus nostris, videmus patres nostros, loquimur de patribus nostris. Lacrime et fletus hominum, magnitudo fletum eius, finem pone fletibus tuis, puer largos effundit fletus, peccata mea fletibus lavo. Res nove et curiose, studium rerum novarum, rebus novis faveo, video res novas, loquor de rebus novis. So here we have all 5 declensions in plural.